Mr. Green, I would like to touch on a topic that a lot of bankers are thinking about, and in fact, not just in banking, but in different aspects of the global economy today, and that's the question of leadership. How do you see leadership evolving in the aftermath of this crisis, given the fact that the leaders of global banks such as yours have been raked over the coal and held accountable for a lot of poor practices leading up to the crisis? There are a number of different ways in which we can deal with this topic. There is at the very organic level, there's the question of skills and how that comes up through the system. HSBC is a bank where people like yourselves have been part of the organization for years, and the organic growth has worked well for you as an organization. At the same time, as you make these tactical acquisitions and reconfigure your businesses in different parts of the world, you have to take on talent for which you have to pay, you have to reward, and so on. What's top of mind to you in terms of the kind of leadership talent that you need to build within your own organization in the face of what's happening today?
That's a very good question, because at the end of the day, leadership is what makes a bank or any other business successful, of course. A number of points. The first is that leadership isn't just about people at the centre or people at the top. We have 300,000 colleagues around the world, and I take the view, and I say this regularly to groups of my colleagues, every single person in the organisation has a leadership responsibility, however many people they may or may not have reporting to them on an organisation chart, because everyone has the ability to influence someone else for better or for worse. And therefore, when you look at the question of the organisational cohesiveness and culture, which is extremely important to the sustainable growth of the business, and you ask what is the culture, what is the degree of cohesiveness of the organisation. First, we place an immense amount of importance on long-term commitment, integrity, professionalism, being able to look at yourself in the mirror in the morning and be confident that what you're doing is making a reasonable contribution. These things matter, and they matter not just because a board says they matter. They need to matter because everybody in the organisation feels they matter and seeks to live them out on a daily basis. I mean, that may sound all rather nebulous, but actually it's profoundly important to the quality of the business. No amount of rules and regulations, handbooks and manuals and what have you, can ensure that a bank delivers good, sound, and of course profitable services to its clients in a way that isn't going to embarrass anybody, isn't going to damage the brand, but on the contrary going to reinforce that reputation. No amount of rules and regulations is sufficient. You've got to have that organisational culture, and I think the most important task of senior management is nurturing that culture. So that says something about long-term commitment. It says something about making sure that your management team has a long experience of the institution, has a real commitment to it, has a cohesiveness to it, so there's a shared endeavour. That in turn says something about your understanding of leadership. Leadership can't be a matter of the ego, if you will. It can't be a matter of I. It can't be a matter of who's on the stage and in the limelight. It's got to be something that's shared broadly through the organisation, and there's got to be a real sense of that commitment to the quality of the business, as well as, of course, the technical professionalism, the knowledge, the skill sets and so forth that you also need on a daily basis.
In all of the dialogues taking place in the global level, the Financial Stability Board, the BIS and so on, there's a lot of emphasis on compensation structures that are commensurate with the risk being taken.
In terms of compensation,
I
think the most important thing is clearly payment in relation to real profits. For example, paying in relation to gross income or day one P&L. No, you need to pay in relation to real profits, and you need to have enough stretch, have enough deferral in the structure of compensation that you're aligning, at least directionally, you're aligning the interests of the individual who's motivated by that compensation with the interests of the shareholder and indeed the regulator and the marketplace generally. That's the most important principle. Now, getting that right in detail, of course, there is a lot of work to get that right in the detail, but I think the principle's clear. So far as we're concerned, we think we're in a really reasonably good space on that.